Can everybody hear me?
Yes.
Hoboken. Can you hear me now? Hoboken, 1 square mile. There's no reason why pedestrian safety should not be the cornerstone of everything that we need to get done here, protecting our streets and our residents. While I know we've got a number of issues that we're going to address this evening, with burglaries and parking, pedestrian safety is, in my opinion, high priority. It was a priority when I ran 2 years ago. It continues to be a priority today. And I have to thank Chief Balco and Lieutenant Barrente for bringing this program, first of a series of programs, to the neighborhood, which really emphasizes this fact that we need to slow the vehicles down on our streets. We need to educate the vehicles, the drivers, the pedestrians, so that we can work towards mutual respect to bring safety to Hoboken. Now, a couple of things that I have in mind, which we've already discussed, would be to work on the infrastructure. Police department working with the administration, working with the council subcommittee, we need to repaint many of our lines, the crosswalks that are obviously most used when children and their parents are going from the house to the schools, going to Washington Street, getting to mass transit. Those lines, if you can see, whether it be the crosswalks or the stop signs where they have stop written into the pavement, many of those have to be repainted. So I've been encouraging traffic and safety, and through the efforts of the subcommittee and working with the police department, we're going to ensure that those lines get repainted. Traffic controls. I think the mayor alluded to that earlier. There are many intersections, dangerous intersections in town where there are no crosswalk signs. And actually the pedestrian relies on the vehicles as to whether or not it's safe for them to cross. We ought to have pedestrian signs, and we also should have, at the most dangerous intersections, countdown signs, like what we have down at the bottom of Hudson Street and Newark right now, to help, monitor the pedestrian traffic going to and from the path. There are a number of intersections, not only in the Fifth Ward, but in other parts of town, where we should be investing our resources to get those installed. The stanchions, many of which we've seen installed already in many parts of town, but I know we've put in an order to purchase more of these stanchions. And while unfortunately it does take away parking, it's illegal parking, and unfortunately we ought to be ticketing people for parking in those intersections, because those corners, it creates a dangerous situation, and we don't want to have a game of chicken between the pedestrians and the vehicles traveling through those intersections. Who's going to stop to actually cross that intersection, the vehicles or the pedestrians? So we need to clear those corners, and these stanchions have been very effective. Recognizing that the CPOP program is probably not at its full complement, and certainly we all want to work towards that, I think that we should try and invest some of our resources on the short term to put up these notices, these notice boards. I call them marquees. They can be rather high-tech, that indicate how fast people are driving through our neighborhoods, so that you know the speed limit in Hoboken is 25 miles an hour. Well, when you're going 25 miles an hour down Bloomfield Street or up Bloomfield Street, that's pretty fast. I think that we should move to reduce the speed limit, whether that be working through the county or through the state, and that we ought to be monitoring that speed limit with some of these notice boards, that your speed is, the speed limit is 20, your speed is 25, and actually these notice boards collect data, which is the next point that I'd like to bring up. Educate and enforce. Before we can enforce, we really need to get our hands around the statistics, which this is no fault of the department, but there's a lot of modeling that can be done around the statistics, and certainly with statistics, we can know where we need to put our resources. With statistics, we can set benchmarks. With statistics, we can, we can manage our performance. And while we've got tonight's program in place, and we're going to have we'll have a survey for you to complete afterwards, I'd like to monitor the success of tonight's program so that hopefully in 6 months or 8 months in the spring, we can come back together and actually look at what we've accomplished in the last 6 months. And that's maintaining these metrics and benchmarking our performance will certainly lead to greater safety on our streets. And now I'll turn over the program back to you. Thank you.